This is the north side of Corvallis. I haven't been here in a while, and this is going to get more interesting. This is just where my trip is starting from. Signs like this always confuse me because of how oddly specific they are. Deer crossing next 1 mile, but I don't think that the deers are going to disappear after 1 mile. I think they're going to go on forever. I'm on a small public footpath. Might be a public easement on private land. There is a little free library here, which is the third one I've seen since entering this housing development. And I'm going to continue up this trail for a while after I look in here. This is probably a fierce stream bed in the winter and spring, but now I can step right over it. So I left the path just for a second. Now I'm trying to get back on it, and I'm kind of walking around non-grid streets that go in circles. Well, this looks like it, or it looks like something. To put this in context, what I'm going through is just basically a strip in a housing development where they couldn't build anything because it was probably prone to slides, prone to flooding. So it's just kind of like a little gully going in between these, but with the kind of winding terrain and the roads of the housing development, I got kind of turned around. So I'm just going to keep on going up this road, and this road was just this path was just the beginning of where I really want to go, which is somewhere still a little bit more interesting. So I'm just going to continue on. So this has to be the path I was looking for because it's going uphill and it's been going for a while uninterrupted. I've been on it once before back in November, 9 months ago, but not enough to really remember it really well. But it looks like I am on my way now. Once I got to where I was going went really quick. Okay, this could be nothing but the right path. Very clear and straightforward from here. As I've said many times before, it's really the uncertainty that makes traveling difficult. Once I knew I was on the right path, even though a little bit difficult to go uphill, I don't have any doubts and I'm proceeding onwards. Dark-eyed junco, very common bird. Haven't seen as many of these summer. They're kind of more of a winter and spring bird, but there one is. So this is the end of the access path through the housing development. And this here is the entrance to the McDonald-Dunn Forest where we've been before. And I'm going to continue to go upward after I sit down and get some fluid. I don't know where I am right now, but I know I'm in the right place. I believe this is Quercus Meadow, and we can see there is a quercus tree, or as the vulgar call them, an oak tree. And so this represents a meadowland with oak trees, kind of a dry Mediterranean chaparral climate. Well, for certain varieties of chaparral. That's a lot of underbrush for true chaparral. And this path should connect to the path that goes up into, you can see it right there, a more traditional, like Oregon coastal forest. And that is what we are going to go and find. So even though this is part of a McDonald-Dunn Forest, we have a lot of invasive plant. We have ragweed, we have thistle, some type of thistle, which is a hard word for me to pronounce, and we have the ever-present carrot. So this area, and as well as, of course, blackberries. How can I forget blackberries? Himalayan blackberries. So this area, even though this is, meant to be natural, still has a lot of invasives, as we've seen in other places. So one good thing today is we have a cloudy sky, but not too cloudy. It felt like earlier it might even rain, and it did rain a little last night. So pretty good weather. Right now I don't have any shade. Once I get into the forest, then I'll be very well shaded, which is good because I do have to climb for a while. So here we are right now in the Quercus Meadow Trail. We're going to follow this paved path up until the middle dance trail. Then we have all of this to go until we get to Dimple Hill is the plan. Sorry for the spoilers. And luckily I got up early today, and it's a cloudy day, but it's summer, so we're out late. So really I have hours and hours to walk this trail in the forest. And as I said, now we're getting into more of a traditional Oregon coastal forest. This is where the power lines go through. I don't know if it shows here, but I can hear them crackling. And these are the same power lines I walked under when I came back from Adair Village. I should have gotten a photo of the trail map because I think I went to the left, but I'm not sure. I guess we'll find out. Apparently I was wrong. This is the road I was supposed to go down. Luckily, before I got too far, I found another hiker and he corrected me, I suppose. Who knows? Who knows where I am and who knows where I'm going? So this trail here is where we are going. And I don't know what it will look like. I guess we'll find out. Looks like they're making a road through here also. This is vine maple or something closely related. You can tell it's a maple because we can look at these seeds. And opposed to the big leaf maple, which is really typical in disturbed areas and then as a climax plant, the vine maple is mostly an understory plant, more of a bush than a tree. It grows in a lot of coastal forests, and we will probably see a lot of it today. So benches aren't unusual, and even benches with a dedication aren't unusual, but this one has shrine, amine. I wish I could remember how to say that. Amina. Little vase and a picture of the person who's dedicated to, and a little book of poems. I stopped and read his book of poems. So this forest means a lot of thanks to a lot of people, and this is a memory of somebody who really appreciated the forest. And I'm going to appreciate it too. This is presumably Jackson Creek, where we've been before, or one of its tributaries. And in August it's a lot smaller than it usually is, I'm sure. And I just crossed this bridge and I'm going to be continuing up this hill. Incidentally, this trail is not just hikers, but it's also for mountain bicycling and horses. And I have seen one or two hikers. I have not seen any bicyclists or horses yet. Looks like with this tree, woodpeckers and probably other animals, insects, etc. that follow woodpeckers have been at work on this tree, which looks to be dead. A pretty common sight, but all is interesting to me. So right now I'm at kind of the hard part of the hike, which isn't terribly hard, but we have these switchbacks where I'm taking these U-turns to make the grade less steep, and there's several miles of these. So this is the hard part of the hike, and I'm doing good. I'm enjoying myself. I said earlier that this would be more of a classic coastal rainforest, and that's kind of true because we have holly, which is invasive but prefers shelter. We have trailing blackberry, which is the forest blackberry as opposed to the invasive Himalayan blackberry. We have salmonberry with these big palmate leaves related to salmonberry or thimbleberry, related to blackberry or raspberry. We have some hazel. We have the very popular western sword fern. And so we have kind of more of this plants that thrive in a shady understory. But if we turn around that way, we can see there's still grass on the ground, so it's not totally shaded out. So depending on the time of year and the microclimate, it could be different a few hundred feet. we have kind of a transitional, you know, temperate rainforest here. Along with that, we have a lot of deciduous trees here. When you get deep in an Oregon forest, it's almost totally coniferous trees making up the canopy. Here we still have a lot of maple trees, big leaf maples, that are, you know, taking part of the same ecological niche as the coniferous trees, which are probably Douglas fir. And that could be just to where this location is, or this forest could still be recovering from early settlement. I don't know. But we're still in a transitional zone between, you know, a settled riparian forest and a mature, you know, Douglas fir forest. I'm not an expert, so I'll just leave it at that. So still on the switchbacks, and I just sat down to rest for a second, catch my breath, get some water in me, and I will continue on. And one of the things at this point, it's easy to play tricks with my mind to think about how far I'm going to go. And if I look up there and zoom in, I can see some gaps of sky, and maybe that is the summit of this hill. But if I start thinking about that, then I'll just think about how tired I am, how far I have to go. And really, as long as I don't think about it, it's really not that steep or arduous of a path. So I'm just continuing on my way. And it's about 1:30 p.m. So I still have all day to do this. Nice shade, not too hot. So everything is going pretty much well. Still going onward. Still at about the same level of difficulty. Hard to tell how close I am to the top. And it kind of seems like I've been doing this forever, even though I, you know, checked my phone, and I've been 90 minutes since I was in the meadow, for example. And maybe 45 minutes ago that I started the switchback part. But, you know, you kind of just get in a trance, and it seems to just keep going, for better and for worse. I just met a kind man on a bicycle. By the way, I think that's a Steller's jay, that's squawking. It's hard to tell because it's up in the trees, but Steller's jay is a little bit harsher than the western scrub jay. Anyway, I met a kind man on a bicycle who told me I'm about less than a mile from the top, and I've done most of the hard part. He also asked me if I was a YouTuber, and I guess that's a thing now. That's become my identity. So yeah, we're pretty close to the top, and let's see how that goes. We are near the summit, I think and I hope. And look at how dense this western sword fern is. So it's August now, dry, Mediterranean. But we're up high enough that this is going to be an area with markedly more precipitation and some snow cover in the winter. So you have a lot of these plants that are drinking a lot of water. So my goal is at about 1,400 feet, 300 meters, a little bit more than 300 meters, which isn't that high, still a hill, not anywhere close to being a mountain. And Corvallis itself is about 200 feet, like slightly above sea level where I started. So they're about 1,000 linear feet of a climb. But the trail has had its crests and dips, so it's going to turn out to be more than that. So, you know, not like a mountain climb, but more than a casual hike as far as how much ascent there's been. Another bench, another rest, and don't want to rest too long because then my muscles will tell me they don't want to work again. So going to continue up this trail and getting pretty close to the top. There's a fork here. I didn't know that was going to happen, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because I can't tell what's going on in that direction. So I'm going to continue upward. Well, it looks like we're coming up on something, but that could still be in 5 minutes or it could be in 30 seconds. Apparently I could have just driven up there. I think that's a service truck though. So this is what I came here for. I'm at the summit and we have a view down into the valley. That's the Willamette Valley. And I'm going to try to get to a point where I can see what exactly it is I'm looking at, because it's not clear from here exactly what is what. So I do know that has to be Mary's Peak. And there, that is the hill north of Philomath. And there, I think that is Bald Hill. That's also around there would be Fitton Green. In the distance, I think that is Philomath. And a man who was at the summit told me that this road in the distance is Belle Fountain Road. I'm not sure about that. I thought it was Southwest 53rd. It could be either. And somewhere over here is Corvallis. And I think that is the university buildings, the west side of the university. It's hard to tell from here. But this is why I like Corvallis. I love this view. It was worth the way up here. And I'm kind of tired and I can't think of anything else to say about that. This here, about 50 feet away, seems to be the true summit of Dimple Hill. And that seems like another bench where I can sit down for a while. Whatever the specific roads and areas we're looking at, where I am right now, in linear miles from the edge of Corvallis from where I started, might be something like 2 linear miles, maybe 3. A distance that if it was flat and on a straight road, I could stroll down in, half an hour. And that's interesting, and I've said that in a lot of, I think I said that a lot of times before, that a lot of times you can be in a place that seems way out, but in reality it's not too far. That's true a lot of places, but I think it's especially true in Corvallis and the Willamette Valley, where there's a lot of natural areas. Not perfectly natural, as we can see, I've talked about invasive plants and stuff like that. But you can have a pretty natural experience even though you are only, short while from your home. And I've said this in a couple of videos and it continues to be true. I really like Corvallis, which is somewhere over in that direction. Let's see if we can get a better view of the city of Corvallis if it's not all hidden. Well, now the view is getting obscured other ways, but there we are, somewhere over there. So, I'm not making propaganda, but I do want to make it, I want to brag a little, show that this is a good place to be with a lot of features and a lot of ways we can appreciate the natural world. I keep on wanting to make sense of what I'm looking at, and I kind of arrange the pieces in my mind. That actually looks like that could be the shopping center, the Circle Shopping Center. Then if we look over here, this could be the Witham Hill Natural Area where I was. And then that would mean on the other side of this hill, that is close to Martin Luther King Park, and then that's the road that goes down and turns into 53rd. That is what I believe I'm looking at, but I could be wrong about that. Incredible view, whatever it is. One more final note on that. It's also interesting because when you're in Corvallis, you see a lot of buildings, but this is Corvallis right here. This is the center of Corvallis, and what do I see? I see mostly trees. So it's a lot of trees in Corvallis, a lot of green spaces, so that when you look at it from a distance, you can't even really see the homes. Unless I'm totally confused about what I'm looking at, which is also a possibility. So having come to the top, it's close to 3 p.m. Time to start back on the way home. This will be a lot easier for my muscles, and a lot easy in a cardiovascular sense. Might be a lot harder on my joints because there's a lot of downhill, so I can get hard on my knees and my ankles, but that's part of the game. Also, my video camera only has one bar, so hopefully I'll be able to still capture anything interesting I see on the way down. Well, now that I'm going down this upper Dan's trail, I don't know what was wrong with me when I was going up it, because when I was going up it, it seemed like a really steep, arduous trail, and now I'm going down it, and it just seems like a walk in the park. Me from a little while ago sure was silly, complaining about this easy, simple trail. On the way up, you know, I noticed a lot of differences in the microclimate and the terrain. Like right now, we're moving from a shady area with undergrowth to this open area. And each one seemed kind of dramatic because I was moving slowly and with effort. On the way down, they all just seem like scenery, and I'm just grooving right past them. So now I've passed 5 or 6 cyclists going uphill, 2 or 3 going down, and more than a few hikers, so it looks like it is getting a little bit more busy and crowded. And usually I'm the latecomer, but I guess these people started out later in the day than me. There's one over there, but I will not actually record them because, you know, privacy and stuff. So the temperature today was supposed to be somewhere around like 75 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius, if I did that conversion right, which is a pretty moderate day and pretty mild day, and here I'm in the shade. And so I'm really glad I decided to do this on a cool day. The hike was a little bit more arduous than the ascent, and on a hot day I could have gotten dehydrated and have a really bad headache, but on today, pretty calm and cool. And that is a Steller's jay. You can tell from the crest, the black crest, unlike a western scrub jay, which do not have crests. It's hopping around. They're very versatile and intelligent birds. Western scrub jays are also slightly more adjusted to people. And so even though Steller's jays are sometimes in cities, where'd he go? The California scrub jay is more likely in those areas, and Steller's jays are more likely in places like this. And I think I lost him. I am here right now, and I just came from Dimple Hill. And I don't know if those switchbacks are accurate. They might just have put 4 or 5 in them, because I remember much more than 4 or 5 switchbacks just now. So that might be a little bit stylized, but there are many switchbacks. And now I am continuing this way. Only that's the map, and this is the territory. So I have to go down a little bit and then go up some more, but I've finished the main hill, and I'm back in the, not main hill. Well, I'm back on this road, so kind of out of the forest trails, on this road back up to Quercus Meadow. Not really a lot to report. The way back, obviously shorter than the way there, other than this road right here, which is uphill, but just for a bit. And, you know, I kind of on the downhill part of the trip as I walk uphill. So not really a lot to report, just it's a nice day. Continues to be good weather and good scenery. Another dark-eyed junco? I believe it is. Maybe they are out in the summer and I just have not been paying enough attention to one of my favorite little birds. So apparently I'm out of battery on my video camera and I'm doing it like I used to do with my cell phone. And I'm going through this part and it's a lot hotter here in the direct sunlight. Luckily I only have to do this until I get to that tree line. And that hill in that distance, and specifically you can see the grassy patch on it, is where I was. And it doesn't look that far from here, but it was a journey to get there. Here I am. And nothing more from here, just gonna get on a bus and go home and relax. It's been another adventure. There will be more to come.